Hey up guys, what's going on? Welcome back to York City. There's no faffing around for this one because no games played in the interim and no real news in the interim either. So we are at the Rico Arena for Coventry. This is match number 3 of the 6-game run at the end there. So matches 3 and 4, Coventry away and Exeter away. Quite a pair of tricky away matches I feel like here. But if we win both of these, then we're guaranteed promotion. If we win this one and matches elsewhere go in our favour, then we can guarantee promotion now, which is a little weird, but nonetheless, it's an option. Now, no real team news on our side of things. There's a few people returning from injury, which aren't listed. Most notable is Jake Vokins, who still isn't at full match sharpness, so that's who still is on fitness test thingy-majiggy, which I never really know what that means when it doesn't have a number of minutes applied to it. So we'll leave him out for the time being. Gardner Hickman has taken a minor injury, actually, which wasn't listed there. So very annoying. So the lineup is... Well, the starting lineup is identical to the one that did the last match. Dutra in goal, Shaw, Borges, Edgar and Clark on the back line. Squires, Nacelle and Sabara in the middle. Shuref and Lee Tao and King up front. Now, Squires is available to do the entire match this time round, so no need to worry about that. I feel like this is the quickest I've ever got into a match. Come on, lads, there's a chance at a championship promotion here, which is ridiculous, really. Well, in terms of our squad compared to the rest of the league, it's not ridiculous. Compared to the amount of years it's taken to get here, feels a little ridiculous. And I do feel like this is going to set unrealistic expectations to future saves. That might take longer. Well, they've scored. And thank you for immediately bringing me back down to earth as I'm talking about promotions. 16 minutes gone as well. Those first quarter of an hour is just gone like that. Remarkable. But, yeah, I feel like, the first year I did take on York without kind of realising they were sort of odds-on favourite to start with. But at the same time, I do feel like we've gone through the leagues a little bit quicker than I was intending. I may have regarded the gap between League 2 and League 1 quality as being a little bit more than it possibly was. I always say that League 2 and League 1 are largely comparable, but perhaps they were far more comparable than they thought they were, considering that we were sort of favourites for League 2 when we won it in the end, and then we've immediately gone up and been, well, in the promotion hunt on the preview. So, well, they're sort of through again here, and that's a post. So, 1 point now, our lead in Oxford, but still 6 points clear of MK Dons in third. So a win in the next match regardless. Oh, there's an equaliser. Edgar again. I shift around to the players in the corner in the box because I kind of realised we may have had some, well, shorter people in that position, basically. I made sure we had our tallest players on the sort of attacking posts options, basically, is what I did there. And, well, Edgar's now scored 4 set pieces in the last 4 matches. I'm weirdly not happy, and that kind of works. Like, I'm happy and also not happy at the same time. Like, a draw here isn't an unrealistic result. It's perfectly acceptable. Away at Coventry, they are only 15 points behind us as things stand. That sounds a lot. But it's also worth noting, of course, that Coventry went up last year and they are in this... Jesus Christ. Sorry. If anyone's offended by blasphemy, then I do apologise for that. But what on earth just happened there? That's goal of the season just for the league, surely. As they've packed out the stands. Clark, it's a great assist by Clark, really, but... What a goal! If we lose to that goal, then I'm not... it's his 5th goal of the season. He's a midfielder, but pretty certain he's 3rd on the highest ratings. And for good reason. Blimey, he's on loan from Reading. Are they getting relegated? Because I'll buy him. If I have to. Shuref, Nacelle, out to Shaw. There's a chance of an equaliser here as we charge forward a little bit. He doesn't clear the first man, of course, but Shuref's there to clean up. And what has Kingston done there? I'd love to have seen that one in 3D. Bloody hell, that was an appalling shot. We actually do have the better of this match. But South comes on, because I don't trust King after that one. Good God. Shaw's not Shaw's best game, so I'm going to bring Vokins on for some minutes. And I think we'll leave it at that for the time being. Everyone else is 6.7. The ratings aren't terrible here. We may be 2-1 down, but their average ratings are pretty comparable between the two teams. They're both on 6.9s-ish overall. But only the one clear-cut chance per team here. And South, oh, might go down as another clear-cut. No, it doesn't. It's going to give Gastel 5 minutes. And it is going to be 5 minutes because there's 3 added on. But nothing happens in them. Literally nothing. I feel like nothing happened after I made those changes there. I'm pretty certain we had 10 shots to 5 on target at that point. Well, on paper, it looks like we've been marginally FM'd. Considering 10 shots on target to 5 and the goals have gone exactly the opposite ratio. Yeah, I'm going to be assertive with the fact I'm not happy there and leave it at that. The goal that we lost to is obviously a wonder goal, so we can't be too mad at that goal. We can be mad at the fact we lost. Oxford didn't win. Notts County bailing us out in the 95th minute there. I say bailing us out. Now, of course, losing there is fine, it seems, because Lincoln lost. Imagine being Barnsley winning at Bolton there. Winning away at Bolton, Barnsley there, winning. Imagine them looking at the fact that Southend have beaten Lincoln and stayed ahead of them as a result. Considering the relative positions there. That must be gutting for Barnsley. By the way, Barnsley just relegated from the Championship again. They've been in the Championship this entire time. This is the first time they've been back in League One in this save. And it looks like they're about to be relegated again. So, probably with still some Championship quality players in here. May well be worth keeping an eye on some of these. If they've got any a lot of homegrown players, of course. So it might be an idea keeping on some of their better players, perhaps. May not be too happy about being in League 2. Any of that stuck around after being relegated in the first place, of course. Yeah, they've got players worth millions here, so some of these might be able to do a very good job in the Championship. And of course, our former senior affiliate. As we're about to go in opposite directions. That's weird. I really don't want to lose Smallwood at the end of this year because his ability to do that every damn time is ridiculous. He's okay being an emergency backup, along with under-18s assistant manager. I mean, that's very reasonable, Richie. Yes, stay around. I think we've just had our first sentimental. I think we've just had our first sentimental, folks. Now, see, this is the interesting thing. Post-match analysis for Coventry. There were no poor performances worth noting in this match, despite losing 2-1. Said a lot about that match, really, doesn't it? A couple of 6.6s. I'd argue they're not the best performances, but fine. But hey, our first sentimental has actually gone through, so he will stay with us as a player, but also under 18's assistant manager. In fairness, I've never really played him this year, so it's nice to have him doing something at the very least, and whilst he can sort out every single backroom problem there has ever been. That's basically all he's been. He's literally just been, essentially, my point guy. Just deal with that, Richie, will you? Thank you. But this actual piece of news from the day before is something I'm going to very briefly talk about now. Nacelle essentially been showing remarkable improvements, even though he's run out of potential at this point, at being a good player for League One sides. Nacelle is a curious one. He's 24 now, which seems really weird considering when we signed him, but he's not likely to improve any more. I'd argue that his consistency is actually pretty good now. I felt like it was a little bit of a problem in his early years, but now he's very, very consistent. He's obviously a very important player for us, and he is 3 stars. But if he's stuck at League One level, this is the first real sentimental. I say that. I mean, Lopez was a bit of the same situation we had with Lopez when Dan Morgan started playing ridiculously well in last season, when we sort of, Lopez had a fantastic year. We loved Lopez, and then Dan Morgan was the one to perform the year after, and I had to play him over Lopez. But that was a case of a backup just outperforming the first choice. This is the case of, do we get someone else, or do we hope that Nacelle performs beyond his ability next year? Provided, of course, we don't bottle it in these last 3 matches. This is the first real tough decision in terms of getting a replacement. I say getting a replacement, getting a better player in a position. Because as much as Nacelle's been here from the first season, let's not forget, we had him in the Vanarama North. So the fact he's developed with us through to League One is fantastic, but do we let him see if we can get him to perform above his level in the Championship if we get promoted, or do we get a new player in for his position? Now we've got a player coming in for the Mazzala role, the one alongside it, but not his position. I don't think. It's going to be interesting. Speaking of, by the way, midfielders, the only one of the Premier League release list to be of any note is Remy Davis, who very good physicals, very good determination, and with the potential ability of star player. So thought I'd get him in. He's only 2 stars now. We'll probably loan him out, but he's 17 and could become homegrown club for us. With a 17 determination, I figured he might really realise his potential. He's obviously not first choice anywhere near right now, but on a similar level to some of the backup players already, so couldn't hurt, really, in my opinion. He's right-footed, probably might take over that Mazzala, be in the mix for that Mazzala position if he develops, but we do have obviously a player coming in for that position next year once Sabara leaves on his loan. So depending on how good that player is when he comes in, we might look to get Sabara back in again because he is very good and he is actually on a championship level. Remy Davis could be good. 850 quid a week is quite high for a player of his position, but why did I click on the team meeting thing? Admittedly, 26 players have gone, yeah, good, great. I appreciate everyone on this list saying promotion is a massive prize and we need to give everything to try and secure it for the fans. For the 6 players who said it wasn't expected, true, that's because you guys at the end of last year thought it was unrealistic that we wouldn't even stay up, which was admittedly changed when we came back, thankfully, to, yeah, we should be able to stay up without an issue, just about, when our season preview had us in the promotion playoff spots. The only ones that really matter here are Clark and Nassau, to be fair. So, one bit of news, though, we are selling Luka Ilic for money, which is good, because he was pretty much a utility man for League 2. He had potential ability, but he's 24. I don't think he's realising it now. And for his wages, off you go. 2,200 a week for a player who is, well, apparently, leading Vanarama. He was, yeah. I thought he was going to be better than he was, in fairness. He was just very well-rounded in very goodness and could play a few positions, but I think we're okay. Also, wasn't homegrown, which I thought he was, considering he came from Man City. He's well suited for this type of fixture. Edgar's well suited for every type of fixture. He's a leading championship player. Oh, I tell a lie. Ted Smith. Ted Smith was the first sentimental replacement. And in fairness, it's worked out a little bit, hasn't it? 22 clean sheets in the league for Dutra. Yeah. He was the one. He was the first one that we had to go, let's see if he'll play above his level or maybe get a replacement. Although I think he was actually League 1 level. I feel sorry for Ted Smith now. I feel less sorry considering Dutra's performances, but still. So, Exeter versus York? Basically, we just need to match the results. Match or better these 3 teams' results. MK Dons, Lincoln and Portsmouth. They're only 8 points behind as well. So, as long as we match or better any of these 3. In fact, a point basically does this for Portsmouth, regardless of their result, because goal difference. But yeah, a point, match or better MK Dons and Lincoln, who, well, MK Dons played Gillingham, so basically we need to win. But we get to stay full strength. We sort of get to stay full strength, basically. I'm not entirely certain who's better right now in this left wing position, Shuref or Gardner Hickman, considering over the season, Gardner Hickman recently, don't know. Dutra, Chow, Borges, Edgar Clark, Squires, Nacelle Thabara, Shuref, Lee Tao and King. Same first 11. Off we go. Away at Exeter, as they play a 4-4-2 with 2 regens in the middle. 3 regen. No, sorry. An entire regen midfield. If we win today, we will secure promotion to the Skybet Championship. Let's win it for them, the fans. Well, ironically, one of the few players who said, oh, this wasn't expected, was the only one to react. And none of the players who said, we will do this for the fans, actually reacted to me doing a team talk saying, we need to do this for the fans. This game sometimes is baffling. As well, MK Dons are actually gone down to Gillingham. 1-0 already. And they're clean through. Exeter. Dutra. That was bizarrely competent defending. I don't know if he intended that, but what a header back to Clark to the goalkeeper there. Shuref is clean through here, though. I say clean through. He's kind of, First touch wasn't brilliant. He went a bit too wide with it. 10 minutes gone. I feel like a demand more might be in keeping at some point here. Well, I was about to say half the half gone. Squires. He tips it over. It's a corner, I think. Great save, I think that goes down as. as Oldham are beating Lincoln as well. So, well, MK Dons have equalised, but like I say, we only need to match their result or better it. But considering Gillingham are, well, the worst team in the league, frankly, so I'm expecting MK Dons to win that one in the long run. We do kind of need to win here to guarantee it in this match. Squires is well offside. Edgar's whatever Edgar was doing was way off. So I want to say demand more, but we keep getting highlights. I'm going to demand it now regardless anyway. As, well, Mandron is... Well, he's gone very wide here. Edgar has dispossessed him because he's a leading championship defender. Every time. King is through. King is through. Have I just memed myself? Penalty. That was a very quick penalty reaction. There wasn't any faff whatsoever as they go to review it or anything. So King... Well, that's the first penalty I've seen saved. What a time for it to happen. Have they tweaked the penalties back again? I seem to remember there being another update a little bit. I don't know what's happened to Southend, but they decided to actually play football towards the end of this year. Portsmouth are also losing, so they're out of it. Right, it's 0-0. We've had largely the better of it, but as long as MK Dons aren't beating Gillingham somehow, we stay promoted at this point. And Oxford also aren't winning their match, whatever's going on over there. So the title remains 3 points clear, as Gillingham actually take the lead of their own accord opposed to an own goal now. What is happening in MK Dons? Gillingham have long since been relegated and really have nothing to play for other than pride. Whereas MK Dons are fighting for automatic promotion. As I presume that was the highlight. Yes, it is. Exeter's goalkeeper's on a 7.1. Anyway, they build from the back by looks of things. Brown, I say build from the back. They just hoofed it off to Bogle, who was completely in space of his own there. Kirby, out to this side's winger. Torunariga, I'm going to guess. Torunariga, something like that. Nacelle, anyway, who's just... Anything you can do, I can do better. King, wide. I think we might need to take him off. He did miss a penalty, so confidence probably a little bit shocked. Yep, he's down to a 5.9. Because that's what happens every bloody time. South's on. Lee Towell's not having the best one either, so I'm going to give Van Gastel half an hour. Probably his longest appearance you've seen. Anyway, he did play like an entire match at one point, as I tried him out. South, anyway, Nacelle. Oh, he's going to have a crack, I imagine. Yes, he does, and it's over. 8 points remains the gap to MK Dons and Lincoln. What's going on with Lincoln, by the way? They're still losing 1-0. This might be the least impressive promotion or clinching you've ever seen, as our entire back line gets booked. There is a free kick here for South to take, of all players. Wide. Didn't know he was our leading free kick taker. 13. Alright, fair enough. Gardner Hickman for Sheriff. This is weirdly tense. This is the tensest 0-0 in history. What happened there? Van Gastel back out again. I don't know if that was the main highlight. It was, yes. Squires is offside. A missed penalty, though. I kind of forgot about that a little bit, as this rattles off to 0-0, just by, once again, very similar match statistics to the Coventry match. But still 0-0. Edgar makes his 50th career appearance for York, and that's all this season. Fortress has played 175 games. He's older than I remember he is. Yeah, he's 25. Ben Squires has made 75 appearances in general, and he's 19. Not for us, but Sabara's made 50 appearances for us this year as well. He's on loan. What a season he's had. I don't think he's been out of the team. We've promoted you to results elsewhere going our way. Congratulations. What? That feels like the most passive-aggressive statement I've ever seen in a Team Talk option. It's like to say, well, you were rubbish, but we've been promoted anyway. I'm clicking it. Everyone's delighted. Everyone's an idiot, basically. They can't see through the passive-aggressiveness of that. Right, we're like, well, you were rubbish, but we're through anyway. Well done. You've been promoted. You've been promoted due to results elsewhere, because you sucked. But thankfully, so did everyone else. Yeah, literally everyone else lost, I think. Oh, Walsall also drew as well. So 3 points there. As Detective Regan Poole, not Richard Poole. Barnsley remain 3 points behind Southend. Barnsley they've hired Alex Neil as a manager, and since then they've won every game. But so has Southend. So that I'm keeping an eye on this because this is getting interesting. Bolton might end up in this problem as well. Mansfield, I think, are okay now, but All three promoted sides actually have stayed up, I think. Because Coventry remained... Well, Coventry are here in the playoff. So, well, promotion secured. Title still very much on the line. As Oxford continue to basically match our results at every single stage here. Right, the initial budgets for next year is £100,000 per week. Oh, we're rolling in it. And a transfer budget of £4 million. That's... Well, it's not a lot for the Championship, but it's a lot for York. Manager Watson's calibre will be coveted by the way, I've rejected so many teams this year. So many... A lot of Championship teams have gone, would you please... I've been offered like 2 interviews as well. Not just the initial press conference stuff. Like, oh, would you be interested in this position? No, I don't care. I've not heard anything. Not really considering the season preview, it's not really a shock promotion. But I'm now a York hero though, and James Clark has. This could be an interesting one considering he's not signed a contract for next year yet. But thank you, James. Would you like one? Are you going to be reasonable? Realistically, statistically, he's not that good, but he is a good player for most. Yeah, fine. At the very least, you can be my backup. No, James. No. What happened to your reasonableness? You were down to 1.8 at one point. Look, we've been promoted. Sorry, James. I can't give you £6,000 a week nearly. Lopez is on £3,000 a week and he's not even played this year, basically. He's our highest paid player. You're not doubling that. Apparently Notts County are interested, that might be why. Because that's the kind of wages they can give him. And they're stuck in this division. I'd argue January was probably the strong run of form. That was the main thing, but okay, fine. We're going to be aiming high and see where it takes us. We're not going to be at the top of the Championship, that's for damn sure. Like League 1, League 2, comparative. With a few good recruitments, you can deal with League 1 quite easily from League 2, I feel like. It's the easiest. They're the easiest ones to run the pair through, I feel like. Vanarama South and Vanarama, I feel, are very similar levels, but North and South and Vanarama, I feel like are very similar levels. But the one promotion spot is the problem there. Wage budget of £100,000 a week, and our committed spending is only £62,000 at this point. So interesting. Considering our overall balance is £2 million. Well, I'm not sure what other news comes through, but we may be promoted. But there's still. I kind of forgot those were the results for today's episode. Despite those results, we are promoted because everyone else sucks. Wow. I understand the passive aggressive end of team talk now. But despite those results, we're still 3 points clear of Oxford in second place, so the title is still on the line, remarkably. Away at Mansfield and home to Rotherham to see us off the end of the season. Of course, if results go our way in this Mansfield match, I may not need to bring you the Rotherham match, which will give me a little bit more time to talk about the way the season's gone and everything end of season-wise. So if we get the title at Mansfield, then probably won't show you the Rotherham match. I'll probably just bring you the goals from it. But depending on whether or not the Rotherham match matters, I'll bring you that. But I'll see you again for that tomorrow. Until then, ta-ra.